All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a really powerful idea, an ancient philosophy that's all about turning challenges into triumphs. It's a total mental reset on how you handle pretty much everything that gets in your way. And it all starts with one simple question. So think about this for a second. When you hit a roadblock, a project at work fails, you get rejected for something, the whole plan just falls apart, what's your gut reaction? Is it frustration? Maybe a little bit of fear? Do you see a dead end, or do you see something else? Your answer to that is really at the heart of everything we're going to explore. And look, this isn't some new productivity hack from a self-help book. This idea comes from one of the great Stoic thinkers, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He had this incredible realization that the very thing that seems to be stopping you is actually your new path forward. It's not a barrier, it's a guide. As he put it, what stands in the way becomes the way. That sounds great, right? But how do you actually do that? It's one thing to admire a cool philosophy, but it's a whole other thing to live it. So this is where we get practical. We're going to break down a modern framework that turns this ancient wisdom into a real, repeatable process you can use. Let's be real. When things go wrong, our default setting is, well, it's usually not great. We blame other people, we get scared, we feel helpless, we get so focused on how unfair it all is. But that's a total trap. There's a different, much more powerful way to respond, and it's all built on 3 core disciplines. So here it is. This is our roadmap: perception, action, and will. Now, these aren't just fuzzy concepts. They are 3 skills that work together, and when you practice them, you can systematically break down and overcome pretty much any obstacle. So let's start with that first one. It all kicks off right here with perception. Because before you can do anything, before you can endure anything, you have to decide what this obstacle even means. This first discipline is all about getting control of the story you're telling yourself about what's going on. So what is perception, really? Well, it's simply the lens you see the world through. It's not reality itself, not exactly. It's your interpretation of it. And you know what? That is fantastic news. Because you can't always control what happens to you, but you have 100% control over how you interpret it. Think about a guy like John D. Rockefeller. He built his massive empire, Standard Oil, during some of the most chaotic economic times in American history. While everyone else was panicking and selling everything off, he kept his cool. He perceived opportunity where they only saw total disaster. That disciplined perception, that was his superpower. This really gets to the heart of it. The 2 ways you can look at any problem. The subjective view, that's the emotional one. It sees a setback and immediately screams, "It's over! This is a catastrophe!" But the objective view, it's factual, it's calm. It doesn't see a dead end, it just sees a closed door. And what does a closed door imply? Well, it implies there might be a key, or a window, or another way around. It's a problem to be solved, not a crisis to freak out about. And really, at the end of the day, that's what mastering perception is all about. It's realizing that so often, the biggest thing holding us back isn't the problem out there, it's our own panicked, subjective, and fearful reaction to it. Mastering perception means getting out of your own way first. Okay, so you've managed your perception. You're seeing the situation clearly, objectively. Now what? Well, now we move on to the second discipline, action. Because honestly, a change in mindset is completely worthless if it doesn't lead to a change in what you do. Action is the bridge that gets you from your new perspective to your goal. But this isn't about just, blindly charging ahead. It's about smart, strategic, and persistent effort. It's about breaking the problem down into smaller pieces and just tackling them one by one, with energy and a refusal to quit. And we got to be careful here, because not all work is created equal. There's wrong work and there's meaningful work. Wrong work is just being busy for the sake of it. It wastes energy, it's repeating what already failed. Meaningful work, on the other hand, is focused. It learns from every attempt, it adapts, it iterates. The goal here isn't just to work hard, it's to work smart on the stuff that will actually move you forward. And in the process of taking action, you will fail. It's pretty much guaranteed. But again, it all comes back to perception. Is that failure a period at the end of the sentence, a full stop? Or is it more like a comma, just a bend in the road that gives you new information and points you in a slightly better direction? That choice is always yours. So many of us get stuck waiting for the perfect moment. We tell ourselves, I'll start when. But the perfect moment, it never comes. The key is to just start with what you've got. You don't need the whole night sky to be perfect. You just need one star to align, one small opening, one first step to get some momentum going. Just start there. So, you've got your perception dialed in, and you're taking deliberate action. But what about the things that are truly, completely out of your control? This brings us to our third and final discipline, the power of will. I mean, this is the question that really tests us, right? You've been objective, you've been persistent, you've tried every single angle, and the obstacle is still there. The deal falls through anyway. The illness doesn't go away. The situation just won't budge. This is where will comes in. Now, will isn't what you might think. It's not about gritting your teeth and just pushing harder. It's kind of the opposite. It's that quiet inner strength to accept what you cannot change. It's the humility to recognize, hey, not everything is in my power. It is that deep resilience that lets you endure without breaking. Think of it like your own inner fortress. Look, life is not always fair. Bad things happen. Misfortune is inevitable. Will is the discipline of preparing for that reality. It's understanding that while events can cause you pain or loss, they don't have the power to break your spirit, unless you let them. Every setback can actually be a source of strength, a humbling lesson that makes you wiser for whatever comes next. Okay, so we've walked through the three disciplines: seeing things clearly with perception, acting deliberately with action, and enduring gracefully with will. Now let's pull it all together and talk about how you can actually start putting this framework to work in your own life. The big thing to remember is that this isn't some linear, one-and-done process. It's really a continuous loop. You'll use perception to see an obstacle clearly, then action to work on it, and will to endure the parts you can't control. And whatever happens next, well, that just presents a new situation, requiring a new perception. It's a practice for life. So here's a super simple way to start, like right now. Pick one important goal you're working on. Now, instead of just hoping for the best, anticipate the obstacles. What could go wrong? Brainstorm those challenges. Then, for each one of those potential roadblocks, map out a strategy. Do you need to reframe your perception of it, plan a specific action, or prepare your will to endure it? This little exercise flips the script. It turns you from a reactive victim into a proactive strategist. And we'll end with this. I want you to think about the biggest challenge you're facing right now. That one thing you wish would just go away. What if it's not actually an impediment? What if, like Marcus Aurelius said, it is the path itself? What if that very obstacle holds the lesson, the opportunity, and the strength you've been looking for all along? What obstacle in your life is actually waiting to become your way?